So you heard there was a little bit of a meeting yesterday, and they're
Yes.
trying to get unity within your party.
Yes.
I can't wait to get your thoughts. Let's move. Let's start with the day after that big sit-down. Both Donald Trump and House Speaker Paul Ryan emerging from their meeting, accentuating the positive and signaling they will work toward party unity, although both concede it may not happen overnight. So, in other words, it didn't happen last night. Donald Trump was on Hannity.
Good job. He's got not an easy job, and I don't mind going through a little bit of a slow process. It's a very big subject. I mean, we have a lot of things, and I think for the most part we agree on a lot of different items, and we're getting there. I feel very strongly about border security. I feel very strongly about trade. I feel very strongly about building up the military, and, you know, to a large extent, I think Paul is there also.
Meanwhile, more signs the Republican establishment may be falling in line behind Trump. Former House Speaker John Boehner and Senator Orrin Hatch announcing their endorsements of their party's presumptive nominee. And even if some of Trump's fiercest critics appear to be warming up to him, Senator Lindsey Graham, who has had some, shall we say, choice words for Donald Trump, says he had a, quote, very cordial phone conversation with the candidate on the eve of his Washington visit. Well, so nice is nice. Is it real?
I believe it's real. Lindsey Graham reaching out to Donald Trump is an indication that he sees unity of the party will be good for the country. So I think that that was a big step that he made by calling Donald Trump. Now, there's one more call I wish he would make. Call Mitt Romney and ask him to stand down.
Ooh. How do you think that would go exactly?
Well, Mitt would be polite and gentlemanly, as he always is.
Okay.
But he needs to stop pushing back. And what I have said many times on my show, look, Mitt, look behind you. You don't have an army behind you. There's nobody back there except a few voices. So I think Lindsey's move was a good one. And I believe that they will ultimately come together.
And, Judge, he also lost twice.
Yeah, Mitt Romney lost twice. And the fact that he's now criticizing Donald Trump about the taxes, I mean, get over it, Mitt. Move on. Everybody was angry when he came out and criticized Donald. You know, if he had that much energy when he ran for president, I mean, maybe he would have won. But here's the bottom line. Everybody knows in Washington they need each other. And there is no better salesman than Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump, like you, is a businessman. He gets it. He walks into a room. You make no mistake who he is. And he will engage people. He's charismatic. And people are surprised he's such a nice guy. He's a sweetheart of a guy. I've known him for 30 years.
All right. So a couple of things that are not jibing, even though they are accentuating the positive, Ebony. So Donald Trump puts it this way. He's aware of a slow process, potentially. And Speaker Ryan puts it this way, that it went very, very well. He's calling on his party to, you know, move forward, so on and so forth. It won't happen overnight. One is a slow process, one it won't happen overnight. Again, they're kind of coming together. How slow is too slow?
Well, I think there is such a thing as too slow here. As I think, as Mr. Cade said, the party unity is very important if they're going to be successful in November, and later we'll talk about how the Democrats need to get that message as well. But to your point, they're being consistent. I think from both Paul Ryan, Donald Trump, we're seeing that it's going to be a process. No one is overstating how quickly this is going to happen. I think they are measuring expectations from the public. I do think that Paul Ryan doesn't have a lot of leverage, though. You know, I think it was very gracious of Donald Trump to refer to him as the leader of the GOP right now, because I think most people in this country know this is Donald Trump's party right now.
And you know what's interesting? When they call him the leader of the GOP, Paul Ryan wasn't elected to be anything more than a congressman. And so because of the position he holds, which is such a powerful position, Paul is thinking he's on a level with Donald Trump. But Donald Trump, make no mistake, is the leader of the party right now.
Here's what I think is happening also very quickly. Paul Ryan is trying to appease 434 members of Congress. It's like herding cats. They are nervous about who will be at the top of the ticket, and until they are comfortable that they can ride Trump's coattail, they are being a little reluctant.
But I totally disagree with you. I totally disagree with you about Mitt Romney. I think that Mitt Romney is doing nothing but help Donald Trump. Every time he stands up and he complains about him, it reminds Donald Trump supporters that he is outside of the establishment. I think that he is still furious that his own tax details torpedoed him. He should have found a way to own and been proud of all that money that he made in private equity. Instead, he was constantly embarrassed and apologetic about it. Donald Trump has turned that pride and wealth on its head and used it to his own benefit.
You know, I want to talk a little bit about what you brought up, though, Ebony, with this idea of power within the party and kind of where that leadership, if there's a vacuum, you know, where that leadership will come from. With Speaker Ryan, it's interesting because he says he doesn't want fake unification. Well, did he read what Senator Lindsey Graham said early on? He called Donald Trump a loser. He called him a lot of things, and now he's on board. I mean, I mean, is that sincere? You think it's real, but it was literally over the night. You don't think it's real?
No, I've been in politics for too long. I know it's not real. They know that they need each other.
Yes.
And you know what? If it were real, then Paul Ryan would say we need to endorse the person that Republicans are electing. And make no mistake, it's Republicans. I mean, this is a primary.
So is he losing some of his power, I guess, is the question I'm asking through this process?
I believe that he's losing his power, and I think he knows that his position right now, based upon the way that Donald comes into a room, into a campaign, and into Washington, he knows that he's on shaky ground.
I think he's losing his power.
Yeah, I do have a quick question about what you're saying, Judge, because I think it's interesting, and you make a very interesting point. But maybe I'm being naive here. Maybe it seems like it could be real to me because for many of these people, they're meeting Donald Trump actually for the first time.
Yes.
You know, they're actually being introduced to him. So from everyone I know that has spoken to him and met him firsthand, once they meet the actual man, that tends to be different.
There's no question about it. People like him. He's engaging. He's a great guy. And you're right. A lot of them say, gee, he's a nice guy.
Like I never knew. Yeah.
I want to get your take on it.
I mean, I think they're kind of like two dogs circling each other and checking each other out right now. I don't think Paul Ryan is losing his power. I mean, I think he's still in control of everybody in Washington, but they're trying to sort of see where each other lies. Look, they have so much more in common than either of them do with Hillary Clinton. You look just from an economic point of view and what has happened in the Obama administration. We have seen median income fall. We have seen income inequality grow tremendously while he's been in office, the exact thing he's supposed to be against. The economy has slowed down so much. We cannot afford, from a pocketbook perspective, I mean, I vote and I focus on economics and on taxes. We cannot afford another Obama administration. That's what Hillary Clinton did.
All right, well, with a former presidential candidate on the couch, and I've been in the field with you.
Yes.
I was on the trail with you. I got on the bus.
That's right.
And so what I saw with you and the melee of people and shaking hands and getting to know them is something that you can answer personally. How important is it to unify the party in terms of the voters? Because Donald Trump has gotten there almost with against all odds in terms of the delegate count, and he had to hire somebody to take over that. I mean, he really has not run a traditional campaign. So how important is it for the party to unify on Capitol Hill with regard to the people who, as you feather out across the nation, aren't on Capitol Hill?
I think it is very important because if you look at the last presidential election, 3 million conservatives stayed home. This is according to ranks previous of the RNC. And because this campaign has been so brutal, a lot of people will stay home. So if you get that unity between the establishment and Donald Trump and the Donald Trump supporters, you may not get all of them to go out and vote, but you will probably have a much smaller number. And Melissa, let's talk about two eagles circling one another. Okay, I don't like that visual.
Lions, maybe two lions.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
You want to
elevate this.
Okay, I want this to be point well taken. I won't make that mistake again, my friend.
You know what they say though on the high road? There's never any traffic.
That's right.
You got to get us on it. Good to have you here.
Happy to be here. Thank you.